Welcome back to NTNA Season 7. We were challenged to create our interpretation of a romantic garden from the 18th century, using acrylic and CND's new collection, English Garden. In addition to the English Garden collection, I used the primary colors plus black in order to vary the tones and shades in my piece. I decided to create a shadow box art piece in true 18th century painterly style. All of the layers are placed strategically onto the nail tips for balance and interest. The Romanticism movement was all about returning focus to the beauty in nature, so I really wanted that to be my main focus. I imagine the woman in this art piece to be writing a yet-to-be-famous poem about self-expression and self-reflection. Hold up. I know what you're thinking.
How is this even nails? Isn't this supposed to be a nail competition? This is so unrealistic. Are we putting boxes on people's nails now?
Let me explain. In the 18th century, neoclassical culture always followed the orders and restraints, while Romanticism art movement is the exact opposite. It focuses on passions and emotions and human vulnerability. It's a matter of trusting the heart rather than trusting the mind. That is why I took the risk of creating something that not everyone would understand.
Makes sense.
Okay, first step, preparing your canvas. Okay, we're going to start by straightening out the tips, and then we will attach them by using acrylic. To make the color of the sky, I combined Lady Lily and blue eyeshadow. I then ombreed that blue with magical topiary and jellied. A fan brush creates the most effortless ombres. Now using a round brush, I am tapping on Lady Lily to create nice fluffy clouds. Next, we're going to create all the layers that are going to make up the shadow box. To create these layers, we'll be using shellac top coat to make a flat surface to paint on. I actually learned this technique from Carly Snar while watching NTNA All-Stars. Now to create the background for the trees, we are going to blend together some green, white, and yellow. Did you know that it wasn't until the 18th century that people had gardens for aesthetic purposes and not just for practicality? The English landscape style is known to influence the shift from formal symmetrical gardens to looser irregular style. Let's seal this painting with a hefty layer of shellac top coat and by pressing a layer of plastic on top to get it nice and flat. Oh my gosh, so satisfying. It's amazing how flexible shellac top coat is. After trimming off any excess, we're just going to buff it so it is nice and matte. Moving on to the next layer, I'm just mixing the color that we're going to need for the archway. Here we are slowly outlining where we want the archway to be, and then it is time to add all the details. Here I am painting the bricks in various shades of brown, and you can see in the upper right corner how I am blending those. In this next layer, I am creating a tree that is crooked and not so perfect. In Romanticism style art, you actually want to see some of the paint strokes. So it is good to use varying shades of different colors and try not to blend them too closely together. Now we are filing the tree to make sure it looks really nice in the shadow box. And now for the final layer, we are painting Our Lady. In the 18th century, it was very fashionable to have very pale skin because it showed that you were wealthy and that you did not have to work. For the colors of her dress, I used Kiss from a Rose, Carnation Bliss, and Soft Peony. I want to share 3 tips with you for hand painting with gel polish. Number 1, work in thin layers and make sure to cure between every layer. Number 2, use a reference photo to see where the highlights and shadows are coming from. And number 3, if you get discouraged that your painting looks bad, you probably just need more layers. Keep going and don't give up. You'd be surprised at what you can accomplish. Now we're going to create the box for our frame. Using CND's powder and liquid, we are going to mix it together and pour it out onto our guide. I found this method ensures it all cures at the same time. Using CND's number 8 brush, we are going to press and pat the product into place. Sprinkle some acrylic powder on there so it's no longer sticky and we can roll it out like we're rolling out a ball of dough. I found with this method, I was able to get the straightest and most even result. You can totally see the difference from my first attempt. Once you have all 4 sides, you can create them into a box. I've already connected all the sides together, so now all that needs to be done is file and shaping. Last but not least, we're going to sculpt the frame. Using CND's monomer and clear acrylic, we are going to start by creating the outside of the frame. I really wanted this frame to look like an authentic wood-carved frame from the 18th century. So once I finished sculpting out all the pieces, I took my e-file and carved out all the different ridges and facets. Our last step is to attach these little leaf details to every corner of the frame. And just like that, it's complete. Now all that's left is to put this piece together by using acrylic and a lot of patience. For a final touch to make this piece extra special, I added a little bit of moss detailing in the front. And there you have it. Thank you so much, CND, for sponsoring this challenge, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.
Wait, I need you. Yeah, you. I need you to click the link in the description and vote so I can stay in this competition. It's going to take you 5 seconds, and if you do so, I promise I will love you forever.